1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. And I'm Justin. I'm in here at the studio with my executive assistant and sidekick, Jennifer. And you can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions, comments to ask@fortwm.com. And you can do that now. You can do that today. We have been talking about something that's really important to you and your family last week. We're going to talk more about it today. And it's been in the news quite a bit, and it can be overwhelming and in some ways complicated. I'm talking about Social Security. You've likely had questions and concerns. That's why you'll want to hear what Robin Brewton, Vice President of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, Inc., has to say. She's zealous about acquiring the knowledge she needs to help people optimize their retirement benefits and navigate the application process. And she's here to help you get the most out of your Social Security. And, before we get to Robin, just wanted to, if you weren't aware, tomorrow is a special day. It's Mother's Day. I'm sure if you listen to the radio, you've probably heard the commercials for roses and, flowers that can be delivered, things like that. So, of course, I've got everything planned and prepared for. Wink, wink. They need to do something after the show. So, obviously, none of us would be here if it weren't for our mothers and the wonderful women in our lives. And I think that it's important to remember that the decisions we make from a financial planning standpoint could really impact their lives for the rest of their lives once we're gone. And as a provider, my wife stays with the kids. She works at home. It's a tough job, of course. And my goal is to provide for financial security for my family and her, to make sure that no matter what happens, if I were to pass now or later on in life, that I'm not going to be leaving some problems for her in her retirement. And, the world is really chock full of widows that are paying for the mistakes of their husbands. And, we're going to talk today about how you can avoid some of those mistakes and what those mistakes are. We know that statistically speaking, married couple of the same age, men, we're just not built as well as women to last the years, I suppose. And we tend to die or pass on first, I should say. And when we do that, often sources of income are lost. Assets have been spent down, and our widows, our surviving spouses, are left to pick up the pieces and deal with that. So really what we want to get to the heart of today is what is your plan to protect your wife? What is your plan to allow for a standard of living that she's used to, should you pass first, so that we don't leave problems for the women that we love in our lives? Now, Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit about our guest today?
Yes, definitely. Robin Brewton is Vice President of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, Inc. She's speaker for consumer, employee, civic, and professional groups about Social Security. She conducts seminars for financial professionals on the topic of Social Security, and she holds a bachelor's and master's degrees from Texas Tech University.
Great. Robin, you're on with us. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I love to talk about Social Security, and I understand you guys are in Austin. I'm in the Kansas City area, so it's great to get to talk to home folk.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Well, we are excited to share with everybody some of the information that you have related to Social Security and things that you recommend, and we're going to have a series of questions that we'll get through here in a little bit. But could you just tell us how Social Security Solutions, the company that you work for, came about?
I would love to. A few years ago, actually it's approaching several years ago, some of us, our founders of our company, were building software to help retirees create retirement income from their savings. There's a big piece of that missing in the market. But what happened along the way as we were building that software is that we realized we knew as much about Social Security as anyone, perhaps more than anyone in the U.S., and recognized there was such a need in the market. I think people don't realize that for, say, a married couple, a two-earner couple, your Social Security benefits, if you play your cards right, can be $1 million or more in cumulative lifetime benefits. So we literally carved out a module of the software we were building, called it Social Security Solutions, and the rest is history, shall we say. It just sort of took on a life of itself and became a standalone business.
And through that process, you've come to the realization that you guys really are, in a lot of ways, the experts in Social Security. And do you feel that was because of all the research that you put into it? And can you explain a little bit more about how that came about?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. And we do call ourselves the experts in Social Security. We have published more research and education related to Social Security retirement benefit claiming strategies than anybody else. Our research has been in some very esteemed journals, the Journal of Financial Planning, the Financial Analyst Journal, the Retirement Management Journal. And I don't mean to brag on it. I mean to simply say we have the research, we have the academic background to support what we do, which gives us instant credibility. So people will see information about us. They'll see us quoted in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, again, because we do have a great service and a great product for consumers.
And that's why we love surrounding ourselves with experts like yourself and having people like you on our show. Because the retirement journey, that's what our show's called, is really about the health, wealth, and freedom. And Social Security is a very important part of that. And how and a couple or individual files with Social Security can materially affect whether or not they run out of money or their standard of living in retirement. And when we get back, I've got to go to a break here in a second, Robin. But when we get back, we're going to talk about how filing strategies can improve the amount of money that or increase the amount of money that folks get from Social Security. In some cases, tens of thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout their lifetime. And again, this is Justin. You're listening to Retirement Journey, Talk 1370. Talk 1370, you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. You may have a question or comment about Social Security. And today we've got Robin Brewton with us, who is the Vice President of Client Services at Social Security, Inc. And they are holding themselves out as the experts in Social Security. And before the break, Robin, we were talking about how filing strategies are so important, but to deliver more income in retirement, and how that could really make a big difference in someone's lasting income and their standard of living. But Social Security has been in the news more than usual lately, of course. And should we be worried about the state of Social Security?
That's a great question, Justin, and I don't believe Americans should be worried. It's true that Social Security always comes with great political fireworks attached, but it's a program that is really very important to all Americans. It's actually been in worse shape than it is now, and a few small tweaks shored up the system. So I think that's what we're going to see again, a few changes that will keep it viable. The bottom line is that too many people depend on Social Security, and we'll find a way to fix it. That doesn't sell news, but that's the truth.
Right. And, when just to speak about what you were saying, when folks talk to me about Social Security, and I try to work with them we like to put together what I call income floors for people in retirement. So we're going to include things in that income floor that we know are going to be paying us monthly throughout the rest of our life, no matter how long we live. And those things often include pensions. They include, annuities. They include Social Security. And when I, in some cases, talk to folks about Social Security, they kind of look at me like, oh, well, is that really a guaranteed And, so what you're saying is we shouldn't worry about that.
No.
And for many of the reasons, people know, I think politicians don't like making changes to systems where their voting block of their constituents are really going to be materially impacted in a negative way. It's not going to help them get reelected.
True.
And so Social Security is important, and for consumers. And to learn more about it, what are some ways that people can do that? How would you recommend them going about doing that?
Well, I know that when consumers get to about 60, 61, 62, and they're on the cusp of retiring, that's really the first time they start to seriously consider Social Security. And if you're in that position right now, if you started to do your research on Social Security, you have already figured out that it's complicated. And I don't think that consumers realize that there are many, many ways to use the rules of Social Security to your advantage, just what Justin was talking about a moment ago. And being able to do so can mean substantially more money in your lifetime. So I think your first step in learning more about Social Security is certainly to do a little bit of Internet research. There are lots of books that have been published, but the reality is, just as Justin said a moment ago, this is a huge piece of your retirement, and you need to seek out assistance. A firm like Justin's firm can help you figure out what's best for you so that you don't sweat all of the options and so that you don't overlook something that can mean more money to you.
And Robin, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about Social Security?
Oh, Jennifer, thanks for asking that. I think the biggest misconception for people out there is that, it really doesn't matter when I start my benefits, that I'm going to get about the same amount of money, whether I start early and get a small check or later and get a bigger check. The reality is, as we've been talking about, those rules can be turned on and off at various points, given certain opportunities that you have. And it can mean, as Justin said, tens of thousands, or for a lot of couples, it can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars more for you in cumulative lifetime benefits. So it does matter when you start.
And that's Robin Brewton, VP of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, Inc., the, quote, experts in Social Security. And this is the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. And Social Security is an important part of living your life all the way throughout retirement and not running out of money, which we know is a major concern. And I've got you can look online and, there's plenty of studies. AARP did one. This is a little bit older, but back in 2010, this was entitled "Running Out of Money Worse Than Death," as people were polled and asked which they fear more, running out of money or death. And something like 44 to 75 people, 61%, I should say, said they fear depleting their assets more than they fear actually dying. So Social Security directly affects, really for many folks out there that are struggling with being able to afford retirement, filing the right way is going to materially affect that outcome. And we want to make sure that you are well educated and you know the right filing strategies and know that you can turn to us at Fort Wealth Management. You can give us a call at 512-433-6492. Set up an appointment. Come in. We'll sit down with you. We'll look at your Social Security statements, and we can run some software analysis for you. And, to confess, Robin, we actually use your Social Security solution software in our office, and
that's good
I
to
love
hear.
it. I love it. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I've seen the software pull out very complex filing strategies that I think most people that come in have never seen before, were never presented.
Yeah, I am not surprised at all. We hear that from many financial professionals. We have put a lot of effort into making the software personalized for your clients so that each of your clients, Justin, walk away from your office with a customized plan that is the best for their scenario.
Yes, and we're hearing more and more about these, quote, strategies that are more tactical, the filing and suspending, the switching. Can you explain just a couple of those?
I'd be happy to. And your listeners probably have begun to hear in the media or read about in the media things called file and suspend or filing a restricted application for benefits, and those sound more daunting than they really are. Filing and suspending is a way of using a couple of rules of Social Security to get the most in money. And let me tell you briefly how that works. It's only available to married couples. And one member of the couple, typically the oldest and the higher earner, reaches full retirement age. And this is something that's only available at or after reaching full retirement age. But that oldest and higher earner gets to full retirement age, files for benefits or opens his account, if you will, but immediately stops them, doesn't take any money in Social Security benefits. And this filing for benefits and suspending your benefits, hence file and suspend, does a couple of things. It allows that worker's benefit, the higher earner, it allows his benefits to continue to grow for as long as age 70, earning 8% more per year or 32% over those 4 years if his full retirement age is 66. The second thing it also does, though, is allow the spouse to start a spousal benefit, which can be up to half of his full retirement benefit. So while he's not collecting any, his own benefit's growing, and his spouse can collect a benefit in the meantime. So that's file and suspend. But I do want to be very clear. Knowing about something called file and suspend or knowing about filing a restricted application doesn't mean that's the best for your personal scenario. You need to let Justin show you what all of your options are so that you can make the best choice for your situation.
Well, thank you, Robin. And I totally agree. On this radio show, we have to be careful giving advice, and that's one thing that we're not doing today. We want to make sure that you're aware that anything that you hear on this show is not a recommendation. So just don't go out and do it, and don't feel like the information that we gave you today is the silver bullet for everything that you need. And in some cases, the software may pull out some kind of a filing strategy that may not really be possible for you. If you can't afford to file and suspend and you really need to take that income sooner, then so be it. That's got to be part of a plan. But before you really go and file with Social Security and lock in some of those decisions that may be irrevocable at some point for sure, and we'll talk about how you can have some do-over opportunities when we get back from this break, but you want to make sure that you have an overarching plan, and that's really important to sit down with a financial professional that is a planner, not necessarily a product person, someone that actually knows how these things work and uses proper software and tools that are designed and developed by experts out there, like Social Security Solutions Inc. And that can put you on the right path for knowing how and when to file according to your own situation. So when we get back, we're going to talk more with Robin Brewton about what you can do to collect more from the government, and everyone wants to know how to do that. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Again, this is Justin. This is Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
Walking down the street one day, being pushed and shoved by people.
Talk 1370, you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and I'm here in studio with my executive assistant by day and my sidekick on this show, Jennifer. And you can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And we're visiting with Robin Brewton, Vice President of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, Inc. And we've got some more questions for you, Robin. Hope you're ready.
I am. Bring
Awesome.
them on.
What are some of the factors that baby boomers with Social Security questions should consider when deciding when to begin benefits?
Wow. That's probably my favorite question to answer, and one that everybody should pay careful attention to, and here's why. The most important consideration about when you take benefits is one you don't know the answer to, and that's how long do you think you're going to live? It's important for singles, but I think it's even more important for a married couple to think about, when will I die and when do I think my spouse will die? The Society of Actuaries has told us that 4 out of every 10 retirees underestimate their life expectancy by about 5 years or more. So if you live longer than planned, are you going to have enough money? Your Social Security benefits and understanding how to maximize those benefits can hedge against that longevity risk. Getting the largest possible benefit later in your life and maximizing that survivor benefit means that you have to rely less on your savings in the event they're running low late in your life or late in the life of the second to die. So, in short, how long will you live is the most important consideration.
Yes, and I talked a little bit on the top of the show here about the fact that the world is chock full of widows that are paying for their husband's mistakes, yes. And really it speaks a lot to those folks that have made poor decisions with respect to Social Security, and the surviving spouse, usually female, is left to a smaller amount of monthly benefit. She'll lose, the family will lose one of those Social Security checks for sure, and she'll be able to collect the higher of the two. But if the highest of the two is not that high, it can be a tough road for that survivor.
And if you haven't saved enough, that check becomes all the more important.
Absolutely. And one of the rubs that we find is working with folks. I had a couple come in not long ago in my office. They said, we really want to spend as much as we can. And this is, we'll call him John. He said, my goal is to spend everything I've got. I don't really, I'm going to leave behind the house and cars and things like that to my kids. And one's a doctor, one's an attorney. They're doing fine. But, I'd like to spend all this money as much as I can. We want to see the world. We want to travel. We want to do all of this and have a great standard of living. And I could just I looked over at his wife, we'll call her Jane, and she just kind of looked almost sheepishly at the corner of her eye at her husband, like, what is this guy looking out for me? Are we gonna how much are we gonna spend of this? Does he have a plan? And so it's important in that situation, and I did ask them what their decumulation strategy was with respect to their assets, and what things they were putting in place for that income floor, if you will, that's going to persist even if they were to decumulate and draw some of their accounts down to zero. Is there going to be some kind of base amount, monthly income, that's going to be coming from pensions, Social Security, and annuities? And what is that number? And have they thought about that? Very important.
It is, yes.
And not to necessarily pat ourselves on the back, but it is true. I have people come into our office that are working with other professionals here in the Austin area, and they have accounts. They've been sold, insurance products. They've got, in some cases, some decent things set up, but they have no idea. They've got no advice as far as how to file with Social Security, and they don't have a written income plan so they can see their cash flow persisting throughout the years to even age 100. And, if we want to be conservative planners, and I always admit that I am a conservative planner, and what I mean by conservative is, we want to plan for the worst and hope for the best. Well, with respect to longevity, planning for the worst is actually planning to live a long life. It sounds kind of counterintuitive. Wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree with that. And we see clients that are in the same boat as the ones you've talked about who haven't really thought about.
Yeah, and that has to be part of a plan, because if that happens, nobody wants to run out of money. And that's obviously that's a major fear. So how do we spend as much as we can today and continue to have a standard of living that's respectable throughout the rest of our lives, and not leave the burden to a surviving spouse? And I believe that Social Security, I'm convinced that Social Security is a material factor in protecting against that from happening. Now, your company, Social Security Solutions, Robin, has created web-based software that helps consumers with their Social Security choices. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I can, but I'm also going to tell everyone that's listening today that your firm will provide the expert advice that needs to go along with software. And I'm thrilled to hear that you use our software. We have been named a Wall Street Journal Best Pick. Investment News says our software is terrific. I think they call it the Lamborghini of the options out there. Not to brag, but just to say to your listeners and to your clients who may be on the phone, getting this kind of professional help with your not just Social Security strategy, but how it fits in your overall retirement income is critical. So while we have some software at our website, Social Security Solutions, that is helpful to you, it's not as robust as the professional version that Justin can help you with. And just to give you a little idea of how important this is, just altering when you take your Social Security benefits, not asking you to save any more money, not asking you to time the market or to change how comfortable you are with your current investments, just taking a look at your current assets and how you're going to spend them in retirement and coordinating with that plan when you take your Social Security can extend the spend down of the savings you do have anywhere from 2 to 10 years. So that's how important it is for you to go get Justin's help with this overall retirement income plan that he will do for you that also incorporates your Social Security strategy.
Robin, I thank you for the shameless plug. You're totally right. You're totally right. I think everyone wants to know, where can I go to get the best advice? Where can I go to get the best recommendations? And, everyone can make mistakes. I make mistakes, obviously. I'm human. But I try my best not to make mistakes, and I do that by relying on tools. I've got calculators I use. I've got tools like this Social Security Solutions software that I use, the professional version with folks. I use financial planning software that helps us understand probabilities of success and can show us cash flow, budgeting, and expenses throughout retirement. We can model travel expenses for periods of time and how that's going to impact folks' retirements. And, if you're just tuning into this show, you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. And we want you to get what you want, and we want to help you, show you how to do that better. That's what we do at Fort Wealth Management. We sit down with you, we take a look at what you're doing. A software program alone is not going to tell us what to do with respect to our clients, but it can provide us the tools and resources we need to be able to understand how to put together a comprehensive plan that works best for you and your family. And we don't want to come to any preconceived notions or conclusions before we sit down with our clients, and I don't. I told this to a couple that came in recently. I said, listen, I don't come to this meeting with an agenda, and I just hope that you don't. We are going to look at your situation like we're all on the same team, and I want to help you manage your assets and resources, including Social Security, the things that we see here on this table, your accounts and your benefits, your pensions, your annuities, your life insurance, such that you can live the retirement of your dreams and not have this fear, this constant nagging fear that you're going to run out of money if you spend your money. We want you to spend your money. We just need to make sure we have a plan to do that. And Social Security is a major element of that plan, and we want to make sure that we get that part right. And so smart claiming strategies, folks can get some information from your website, Robin, and it can make a difference. I know that. And so if there is someone listening right now that is already receiving Social Security retirement benefits and now realizes that they may have made a mistake, is there anything that this person can do about it?
Surprisingly, there are a couple of options. One of them, Justin, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast today, and that's called the do-over option. Used to, prior to 2010, if you had started your benefits, say at 62 and you were 67 today and thought, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much more I could have gotten, how much I left on the table, you could withdraw your original application, pay back all of your benefits for those 5 years, and start later with a higher benefit. But as the media got a hold of that idea and started to teach people how to use those rules, the Social Security Administration curbed that. So now you just have 1 year to do that. So if you're new to getting your benefits, if you've been collecting them for less than 1 year, you can withdraw your application, pay back all the benefits, and start again later. There are a couple of other options. There's one called voluntary suspension at full retirement age that might be helpful to you. But, again, we don't give advice on this show, and these are things that Justin and his team can walk you through so that you can find out if they are viable options for you and your situation.
And that's Robin Brewton, Vice President of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, Inc. She's talking about filing with Social Security, getting things right, and using the right tools to analyze all of your options. And, you know, their tool is fantastic. I use it in my office. I've got the professional version. I use it with people every day throughout the week. I would love to put your information into that software, sit down with you, take a look at your retirement plan, and produce one of these reports for you. You can take it. We've got free consultation we offer. I'll spend an hour or so with you if that's what we need. Right there in our office, I'll pull it up on our flat screen, the software that we're talking about here with Robin today, and we'll put your numbers in, and you know what? We can test different filing strategies. That's one thing I love about this software, is if you were thinking to file a certain way, we'll put that in, and then we'll juxtapose it to another filing strategy. The software is going to pull out what I would say the, quote, best or primary strategy for you and your family. And we'll be able to sit down and look at that and determine whether or not filing that way works best for you. So, Robin, any other advice and comments you'd like to share today before we let you go?
You know, I think my final comment to your listeners is get help in understanding what your options are. We've said over and over today that this is a big financial decision. It's too important for you not to seek advice, and it's probable that you will leave money on the table if you don't get help.
Robin, we'd love to have you back. We really appreciate you being on the show today and helping all of our listeners here in Austin understand more about what they can do to help themselves make the right choices in retirement, protect themselves, their families, and their wives and mothers, so that they can leave a legacy of sustainability and of a robust retirement. And you know, when we get back from this break, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these strategies that we saw this software actually produce, and talk about some of these case studies that you're going to want to stay tuned in. We're going to talk about how, in some cases, it was tens of thousands of dollars more in income, and in other cases, hundreds of thousands. So again, Robin, thank you so much for coming in to the show today, being on. And this is Justin, Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
Just might find you get what you need.
Talk 1370, you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and I'm here in studio with my executive assistant by day and sidekick here on the show, Jennifer. And you can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And we just were speaking with Robin Brewton, VP of Client Services at Social Security Solutions, and we had a great conversation about filing strategies and their software program. And I promised to tell you a little bit about some of the cases that we've seen that software actually produce, and how that impacted some folks in terms of deciding what filing strategy would work best for them throughout their retirement. And this one, this particular case, we had a couple come in, both age 61, and they had not filed for Social Security. Obviously, neither one were receiving any benefits, nor had they requested any benefits. And they were planning to work until about 66, where they said, that's when we're going to pull Social Security. We're both going to file. And they both had earning records, and were both fully insured with Social Security, had well over their 40-quarter minimum requirement. And they were looking at collecting something like $2,682 for him and $2,392 for her at their full retirement age. And that was their plan. So we entered their information in the software we were just talking about, and the program showed us how by filing, suspending, and doing some switching strategies in here, we were able to show them by age 84, they would collect over $106,388 more from Social Security just by filing in a different way.
Nice.
Yeah, and in some cases, with this case, it required them to defer a little bit more, so they had to have a plan for how they were going to decumulate or take some of their money from other retirement sources to make up for that amount they were going to be foregoing with respect to Social Security. But by doing that, it protected their Social Security benefits so that the larger amount actually would grow to something like $4,359 a month. And the survivor, whoever it would be, like I said, usually it's the female, would receive that $4,359 a month for the rest of her life. And if she lives to be 90, that additional benefit by filing the right way is actually going to be for them $182,897 more over the course of their lives than if they were just going to file at their full retirement age. How much money can you get out of Social Security? What is your number? Is it $10,000? Is it $250,000? Is it, like these folks, $182,000 more from Social Security? Wouldn't you like to know how to get the most back from the federal government for the taxes, Social Security taxes that you paid in, and how to do it in a tax-efficient way and have it orchestrated with other retirement assets that you own in a very efficient way so that you and your spouse can live the retirement of your dreams and not worry for a second about running out of money? Well,
yes.
You can know that, and that's what we do all day, every day there at Fort Wealth Management. We work on these problems. We've answered a lot of questions for people and put together some great plans. Everyone's different. We know that. That's why we don't want to give advice over this or on the radio today. But we do want to give you some recommendations and some advice when you come in. Once I fully understand your situation, and remember, I'm licensed. I hold a securities license as an investment advisor representative. I have a fiduciary duty to you and my clients to give you the very best advice that I can. I also hold a Group 1 life and health license with the state of Texas, and so we can look at evaluating some of the insurance products that you have, whether it's life insurance, annuities, or long-term care. What are those things doing? And how do those things impact your Social Security filing strategy? And do they or don't? Do you have an annuity that's going to be kicking on payments right at 66 so that you don't need to take your Social Security payments? Or is it reverse? Do you need to take Social Security first and then maybe take those annuity payments at age 70? Those are decisions that people don't have the answers to, even though they've been sold the products. And what I want to do is sit down with you and help you figure that stuff out. So feel free, by all means, I'd love to see you. Come into the office, give us a call first, or walk in. Jennifer bakes great cookies, chocolate chip cookies. So we've got some coffee, some drinks. So we'll sit down, we'll have a good conversation. No pressure, no obligations to do anything. I want you to know that there's never a cost for anything that we do before you're fully aware of what that cost is and exactly what it is in a transparent manner. So you know that any recommendations that we might make that would incur any kind of cost to you is going to be well thought out and well known, and you're going to have the opportunity to say yay or nay, I want to go this way or that way. And, I give you alternatives. In life, there are things that we need to pay for. I pay to have my lawn mowed. I pay to have my hair cut. I haven't figured out how to do that by myself very well. So I'm okay with paying for service, and many of our clients are okay with paying for services like money management or fees in an insurance product, as long as you know what you're getting for what you're paying, and that it's competitive. You want to know that it's a firm handshake, that it's a fair handshake, that you're getting what you deserve, and you're paying a competitive rate for whatever those fees are. So just wanted to say that. Another strategy here, another case study, I should say, with respect to the Social Security software, had another couple come in. John is age 65. We'll call him John, and Jane, we'll call her Jane, of course, not their real names, but she's 70. And so she was already collecting benefits. And this is an interesting one. Many people that are already collecting benefits tell me that there's really nothing that they can do. They're already collecting, so why meet with us? Right? I mean, why do I need a Social Security analysis if I'm already collecting? It's going to be pretty simple, right? John's just going to collect. And this is what they said. They said, Justin, John's going to take half of my benefit because I'm already collecting, and we're going to do that switching strategy where he's going to defer, basically file restricted for a spousal application on my record, and then he's going to defer his until he's 70, and he's going to take his. Well, that sounds smart. That sounds good, right? I think most people would look at that and say, well, there's really probably nothing else that they can do. That's probably going to be it. Well, you know what? Just to make sure, we put everything into the Social Security software that we use. We can actually enter in your earnings history, and we did for them. And the software actually pulled out something very interesting. It pulled out that she would be able to file for an additional spousal add-on at her age 74 when he turned 70, and no one had ever recommended that to them. They had no idea that existed, and it added about another $250 a month for the rest of her life.
Nice.
Just by just filing. It's so easy. So I really implore you to visit with us. We'd love to have you come in, and if we can find a way to get you some more money, it's just a win-win for everyone. Mm-hmm. And, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, retirement planning is more than just software. It's more than, just using a software tool or just a calculator. You got to really take everything into the grand scheme of things and look at it from a comprehensive standpoint. And, the Retirement Journey show that you're listening to is really designed to help you with some additional information, provide you maybe some guidance or things to think about to help you have the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way all the way. And we want you to be aware that we exist. Fort Wealth Management exists to serve you. We serve you. We work for you. We don't work for a company. It's really important to remember that. And when I sit down with you, I'm on your team. You're hiring me, really, to work as your co-captain, if you will. And really, I'm not a captain. I should say maybe navigator. You're the captain of your ship. You decide what happens. My job is to show you, help you chart that course, and then help you manage that throughout the rest of your life, and to be there for you and your family as things change. Proper financial planning really involves trying to estimate or guess those things that are most likely to happen in the future, whether it's risks or it's higher inflation or it's higher taxes, those things, and then really bring those things that are possible in the future into the present, bring them into the present so that we can deal with them today with a proper plan. And Social Security filing strategies are one of those things. Knowing how we're going to do that is going to influence, I should say, how we effectively invest the rest of your money, how you do that, and from which accounts you take first, what your taxes will look like throughout each year. You need to see it broken down by each year rather than just buying a mutual fund or a product or something from someone and having no idea how you're going to decumulate. And remember, I said decumulate. That means taking money from an account and drawing it down to a point where you're able to spend as much as you can, but still not running out. And when we get back from the break, I'm going to talk briefly about that decumulation, what that means, and how Social Security can be a part of that. But there's so many other factors that you need to be aware of. We're going to talk more about that when we get back. This is Justin, Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
Though my mind could think I still was a madman, I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say, carry on my wayward son.
Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And you know, I know you want to retire. I know you know how much money you'd like to have in retirement coming in every month or every year. I know you have that in your mind. I know you know how much money you have saved in your accounts. You get your statements. Hopefully you're looking online. And I know that you're nervous in some cases with some of the risks that you're taking. I know those things. I also know that you have a problem. You don't know how you're going to derive the income that you need from your retirement assets. You just don't have a plan for that. And my job is to show you how to do that. How do you take the most money you can? And let me just give you an example. Let's just pretend for a second, because it's a round number, you have $1 million saved up. Let's just pretend it's in a brokerage account. So you've already paid taxes on it. Let's just pretend. Mm-hmm. If you've got dividends coming in, maybe that's your strategy. I'm just going to live on the dividends. I've heard people say this. Or I'm just going to live on the interest. That way, Justin, I never run out of money. Haha. Okay, well, that's a strategy. You could do that. How much are you going to really get? Well, dividends right now, somewhere around 2.5 to 3%. Okay, just range-wise, in my opinion, that's what we're seeing. Interest rates are super low. This is a problem, right? So you may be, best case, somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000 a year income from $1 million. And that's what you're going to live on. And, you know, every time you get a payment, dividend or interest, you're going to be paying taxes on that. And, you know, if you're not dipping into your principal, you're not spending that $1 million, you know who's going to spend it?
The government.
Well, the government. Someone's going to spend it. That's what I like to say. Mm-hmm. You have to decide today who's going to spend your money. Is it going to be you? Is it going to be your spouse? Is it going to be the government? Hopefully not. Is it going to be your children or a charity? And that's okay if you want them to spend that. But if you want to spend your money and you want that to last for as long as you live, you have to have a proper decumulation strategy. You need to tap into that principal and spend that $1 million along with the interest and the dividend payments and whatever else you're getting from the growth of those assets throughout your retirement. And as you do that and you spend that principal coming back to you is tax-free. You've already paid taxes on it once. So you should benefit from that if that's the money that you want to spend in your lifetime. We need to be judicious and smart with it, be prudent to make sure that as we decumulate, we're not leaving your spouse, your wife, your children's mother, right, your grandchildren's grandmother, destitute if you pass beforehand and leave her with a baggage of problems, right? We don't want that. We want to protect the important women in our lives. And filing the right way with Social Security is really important. That's part of it. It allows you to decumulate a little bit more aggressively those other assets that you've got because you're going to have a larger income floor. And that's a major strategy that we employ here at Fort Wealth Management. Love for you to come to our next seminar. We're going to have another seminar coming up here in a couple of weeks. And Jennifer, can you tell
Yes. It's at Trulux on May the 19th and 21st, the one at the Arboretum. And then for next month in June, we actually have those set up as well, the 23rd and the 25th at Steiner Ranch. You can also RSVP at the 800-769-1614. Again, 800-769-1614. Or you can also go to our events tab on our website at fortwm.com.
One last case study just before we leave. Just wanted to let you know, had another couple come in. We use this software. We would love to use it with you. Age 59, he was 59, she was 60. And they were looking at filing one way where they were going to actually pull early. This is an early filing strategy they were going to use. We showed them a way with our software to maximize their benefits. And by age 84, they would actually receive an additional $157,287 from Social Security. And if one of them, just one of them, lives to be 95, which is a higher and higher chance nowadays, we're all living longer, the total additional amount from Social Security by filing the right way would be an additional $369,532. Wow. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at it right here. So what's your number? How much can you get from Social Security? How much money can you live on in retirement without running out? Well, that requires a plan. And if you don't have the answers to that, if you don't have it written down and you don't see that, you need to give us a call and come in. Next week, some people hate them. Others love them and can't imagine retirement without at least one. But Do you really understand what they are and how they work? I'm talking about annuities. And next week's guest, author of the book, Pensionize Your Nest Egg, and King William's Tontine knows them inside and out. And author Alexandra McQueen will give you true clarity on what an annuity is and is not. And before the bottom of that hour, you'll know if you're a good candidate for using this centuries-old tool in your retirement plan. Again, thank you to our guest, Robin Brewton, and our sponsors. And for you listening, we're grateful for you. And thank you so much for sharing our show with your friends and asking them to tune in and liking us on Facebook. Remember, this is a retirement journey. I'm Justin, and we'll be back here next week, 12:30, same time, same channel on Talk 1370.